Do you want to know why there's so much confusion surrounding diet and the food that you're supposed to eat? And why there's so much argument and there's so much contention around this subject? It's because if you don't clean your body, then you're not going to have the gauge that you were born with and supposed to have for what is healthy and what isn't. And I will give you an example. Basically, I cleaned my body before to a very, very high standard, extremely high standard. In 2023, my body was very clean, like to the point where it's hard to conceptualize it to people how clean I was. It was having showers once a week, not washing my clothes, not needing to shower like more than once a week. And the feeling that you feel when you're clean like that is a deep connection to yourself and to nature and the food that you eat. And it's an entirely different type of consciousness. And then I gunked up my body again, doing experiments with food and learning about food and healing emotional attachments and stuff. And now I'm cleaning it again. But my point is, I'm telling you that because when I was ultra clean in 2023, and I did that by 300 days of juice fasting and a year and a half of eating nothing but fruit. That's what the sort of thing it takes, by the way. But when I was clean like that, I couldn't even touch a toxic food without my body immediately letting me know that was not good. Like, I would have, say there was oil on a surface and my body touched it, like a bit of canola oil or rapeseed oil, and I touched it, my skin would immediately like reject it. It would be like that. But if you have a dirty body, and if you have toxins in your body, and if you eat oils and you have them in your skin, which is just painting the inside of your body, but if you have that inside of you, you can touch it. And I know that now because I cleaned my body to a really high standard, and then I ate all that food again. So that's how I know this. And when I was cleaning it this time, and I still am, by the way, I'm on day 11 of a juice fast, but when I was cleaning it this time, and when I realized what all that food was doing, and realized I needed to clean it again, then I couldn't gauge what was healthy. For example, I was picking up fruit juices and putting my finger in them and doing that just to feel them, and my skin felt oily because the juice was pulling the oil out of my fingers, because the oil does get like that. It gets into all of your pores and all of your skin. But I couldn't tell if it was the juice or if it was my skin. I literally couldn't tell. So I was thinking, oh, they're putting oil in the juice. And they might well have been, but they might not have been. But I couldn't tell. I didn't have a gauge for it. And my body wasn't rejecting oil at that point either, because it was all in my skin. And that's just one example. But I'm telling you that to illustrate why, or illustrate how you can get confused and how you can lose the gauge that you have inherently in your being and in your nature with a clean body to determine what is healthy and what isn't. So if you clean your body via the methods that I recommend, and I have actually a transition playlist. If you go to the top of my page, I'll teach you exactly how to do it. There's like 10 videos, or you can book a call with me. But if you do that, you can get back in touch with the gauge that is there already, and you will know for yourself what is healthy and what isn't. You won't be confused anymore. You won't be arguing with people. You won't be any of that. And you won't be wondering, well, if you weren't so confused, how come you went back from fruit to processed food? Because it's addictive. That simply. And I talk all the time about how you do shadow work. You explore your resistances. I was having heavy resistances to stuff like, well, I don't want to name any brand names, but brand name food, let's put it that way, like fast food. I was having resistance towards that because I grew up eating it. That was all I ate as a kid. That was all I ate. So I'll tell you my main meal as a kid. I used to get 2 pieces of white bread and a bag of crisps, and put the crisps in between the bread, fold it over and eat it. No butter, no sauce, anything, just eat that dry. And I used to do that 3 times a day. And that was my food for like 10 years at one point. It was like that was all I would ever eat. And I just grew up eating fast food, processed food, never anything healthy at all when I was a kid. So I had a lot of attachment to that processed food. That's the reason why. And I didn't realize what the food was doing, actually. The second time I explored it, I really got to see how it works. Because if you really clean your body and then go and do something, you can really understand it. That's how I know that salt is toxic. That's how I know that oil is toxic. That's how I know all these things, because I've done that process. But if you never clean your body, you won't ever have that gauge, and you'll have to rely on trying to figure it out from other people. Whereas if you get yourself ultra clean, you won't have to listen to anyone. You'll just know. You'll be back in touch with your intuition. You'll have that internal gauge, and you won't be confused anymore about food.